Hi there, I'm Ernie Hawkins, and very, very happy to introduce today's guitar lesson. It has to do with the music of the great cornet player from the 20s named Bix Beiderbecke. He was an extraordinarily talented and amazing instrumentalist who, in the early days of jazz, during the Jazz Age, from about 24 to 1930, was, next to Louis Armstrong, extraordinarily influential in the inception of jazz. His terrific tone and his imagination and his harmonies, he even listened to a lot of European players and composers, and was famous around the world for his terrific harmonies and his just flowing lines and his rhythm. He was just a towering figure who unfortunately drank himself to death by about the age of 30. But he left a few hundred terrific recordings behind. In my opinion, this is great music to be able to play on the guitar in a finger-picking style that I learned from Reverend Gary Davis, a perfect style for playing this kind of music, because Gary Davis had an ability to be able to play what sounds a lot like horn lines, particularly Louis Armstrong horn lines, while playing a bass and internal lines that made the guitar sound a lot like a 20s jazz band. So in this lesson I'm going to play a few of my favorite Bix tunes and show you how to play them. We're going to have a lot of fun doing this. I think it's just great music. So before we get started, I'd like to make sure that we're all in tune and on the same page, tuning-wise. And so let's get into tune. Here's your high E string. B string. G. D. A. And E. Okay, all of these songs are going to be played in standard tuning, guitar tuned to pitch, and we're going to get started with one of my favorite songs that Bix, I believe, recorded with the Wolverines around 1924 and 1925, a song called Susie of the Islands. Susie of the Islands, recorded by a band called the Wolverines from the Midwest, back I believe in 1924 or 5, featuring the great cornet playing of Bix Beiderbecke. Before we get started on this, I want to let you know that probably one of the most indispensable tools for working on something like this is a program that you can get called Transcribe. And what you can do with Transcribe is, I'm sure you can just find it on the internet, I believe it's from seventhstring.com, something like that. You can drag a tune right out of iTunes into this program. And you can, whether it's a band or a solo guitar, whatever it is, you can slow down. You can, first of all, change the key or the pitch, and you can tune it to whatever key and pitch you want, so it's tuned to your guitar, and you can slow it down to almost nothing so that you can learn anything that you want. And so the first problem in learning a song like this is trying to figure out exactly what's the best key for the guitar. You know, it may not be that B flat or E flat or whatever key or keys that these songs are in is the best thing for the guitar. And it turns out that after a while you kind of intuit how to work out these songs, and you know it's just going to fall to hand perfectly in a particular key. And generally with these kind of rags, it's C or G or E or A, lots of times C, and in this case it's C. So I just dialed up Transcribe to bring it down to wherever I'm playing the key of C, slowed it down, and started working. And I couldn't find I couldn't find this tune. Is really probably not published. I looked all over for it, so just have to use your ear to figure out something like this. Fortunately, I've done a lot of the work for you. Now, this is not a beginner's lesson, so I'm not really going to talk about how to finger pick and from the beginning, or my right hand, how it works. I'm just using basically a moving bass and 2 fingers, and but mostly I'm going to be talking about how to play this from the, making chords and playing melodies point of view. So we're going to do the first part of this song right now. It starts out moving from C to G, from the 1 chord to the 5 chord, 1 chord to the 5 chord, and it starts out on this high G note in the C chord. Then it goes to the G7, the F note, pulls off, goes G7, pulls off, back to C. So it's just, and then it goes to a diminished chord. So it's C, G, C, G, and the melody is da 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 da, and this run E, D, and I pull off from the C to the B and go straight down into this F sharp diminished. So it's, and the bass is just moving pretty naturally from C to G. G, G, down to the diminished. From the diminished it goes straight up to the G7, and I'm playing the B flat note. Play these 2 notes. Bum, 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 bum. Goes up to a G ninth. I'm playing this G ninth this way. Here's my E form, looks like an F chord, looking G chord. Here's my F, F sharp, G. This is my 1 here, my G note. So what I want to do is I want to take this down to the 7th, dominant 7th. So I play this, what I usually do is I play this G chord this way so that I can just have my first finger barring the first 4 strings. Then I add the A, which is the 2, so I have a 7th and a 2, so that's a 9th chord. So it goes, and then down here goes to an F minor 7th chord. See, here's your F, here's your minor, here's your 7th. So the F minor 7th chord is just kind of a bar like this, and I'm playing the two E's, and in the middle I'm playing this A flat note. So it goes from the G9. I pinch these two. When I get back to the C, I'm still playing the same three notes, so that the harmony works that way. And often I play, when I'm playing C, I play this open E bass for lots of different reasons. And of course the E is the third in the C. You've got lots of E's. It's a beautiful chord. So just for continuity, let's take this really slowly from the beginning. It starts out on C with the G note, G with the F, C with the E, G, C, diminished, G, really G minor, G7, G ninth, bass is moving, F minor, 7th, starts again, same thing. Just repeats that. This time, instead of going to the diminished, it goes to the A, sort of resolves that diminished. There's your A chord, up to D7. So this is the melody. Bum, 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 bum. All these notes are as far as close as I can get, pretty close to the melody. Okay, to do this, I play, this is a D ninth. It's a D7, C7, C sharp 7, with an open E here, so that D7 and the E, which is the 2, makes it the ninth. There's a lot of ninth chords and diminished chords in this song. So it goes up to the D7, E string open. If you look at my right hand. And then I want to get this high note here, so what I do to do it is I go and play this Gary Davis D7 chord. And to do this, let me take a minute to explain this chord. Here's a C chord. Here's a C chord with the 5, the G on top. And I want to make this into a 7th and keep that G on top. So I bring my third finger off of this C note and put it on to the B flat for the 7th. That leaves my basses open. And so, as we all learned from Gary Davis, you bring your thumb over there and you play it this way, so you have a whole 6-string chord, famous Gary Davis chord. If you move it up 2 frets, you have this D7. So I often move, if I can get this open string going, and then I want this high string, I just move that whole chord over. Then, okay. So D, okay. Okay, let me just back up a little bit so we get a little continuity here. So the second time it starts this C-G thing, goes this way. C, G, C, down to A, D7, so after that D7, that's where the melody is. Da, do, dee, do, dee, dee, da, do, do. Excuse me. Here's the melody. Da, do, dee, do. So it's kind of a, this is where one place where you hear Bix getting pretty modern here. He goes from the D7 to this, back to this G ninth, and he plays this G bass and this A, and brings bum, 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 bum. So there's your melody notes. And it goes from this G9 to this D minor. And with your right hand, you're doing the same thing. You're playing the first string and the third string with the basses. Same thing. So it's from that D minor, it goes to a G here. So it's G, G9, D minor. It goes to a G with, it's like an 11th, with your first finger on that C note. This is the melody. Bum, 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 bum. Beautiful little sequence. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so that's the first little section of this song. I'm going to just play it one more time, that whole section, for a little continuity, real slow, so you can play along here, and we'll split screen it in a minute. So let me start over. I'll tell you the chords. G, C, G, C, G, C, diminished, F sharp diminished, G7, G9, F minor, C, G, C, down to the A, D7, G9, D diminished, D minor, G7, goes C, B, A flat, bum, bum. And that's where the melody, the sort of the main, it's almost like a little introductory little series of licks here, and then the main melody that sort of animates the song starts there. So I think I'm going to stop at this little section right here and just do this first beginning section really slowly on the split screen before we move on.